Hey trainer, do you like catching Pokemon? Haha, fantastic. Well, you're going to love this. It's catching Pokemon in the Sinnoh region, but you're in danger. Pokemon Legends Arceus is a Pokemon title where Game Freak decided that decades-long conventions of Pokemon Centers, Elite Fours, random trainers, those were for squares, and it would be a far cooler idea if players could just freely roam the land and break their ankles off large surfaces if they like. So, where to start? You're a teenager this time, actually slightly older than most protagonists, when suddenly, God says, "Get raptured, idiot." Also find all the Pokemon, that's like kinda your quest now, kid. When you wake up, you're in the Sinnoh region, hundreds of years in the past. Not really sure how long ago though, recent enough for them to have cameras, but ancient enough for feudal lords. Anywho, all you've got is the clothes on your flesh and an ARC phone, which despite looking like it would cost $15 on wish.com, God uses it to send you important messages, and probably like 20 Instagram reels a day. Who knew God was unemployed? Speaking of important, this is Professor Lavington, a very nice dude with absolutely no drip whatsoever. Help him out and capture some lost Pokemon for him, and he'll take you to Kamado, a less nice dude with far nicer drip. But hold on, you've just appeared basically out of nowhere. Why should anyone in this ancient village trust you? It's a dangerous world out there. How about you go capture some Pokemon for the village and prove your worth? Wait, what? You actually caught a Pokemon? Hang on, wait, what? No, how'd you do that? How'd you do that? So, because everyone else in this village apparently hasn't evolved proper motor skills in their limbs yet, we're inviting you to join the Galaxy team. A team of recruits tasked with catching and researching Pokemon to create the first ever Pokedex. That's correct, the very first Pokedex. Sucked in, Professor Oak, you fraudulent husk of a scholar. Also, while you're at it, a bunch of special Pokemon have started glowing yellow and causing quite the ruckus. Should probably do something about that. Why are they doing this? Not really too sure, but it might have something to do with the giant fucking hole in the sky. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that sooner, sorry about that. Hot damn, I can actually talk about divergent and new gameplay in a Pokemon game for once. Moving around. You can dash, jump, run around NPCs until the universe implodes in on itself, and hitch a ride on one of a few Pokemon, allowing for fast travel across this expansive map. For instance, this Psychic Elk so large it would absolutely brick Joe Rogan up. This time, you're basically playing a 3D adventure game, with the option to either engage in a traditional Pokemon battle, or just say screw it, and get your ass handed to you trying to fistfight an actual boulder. However, when you do battle, it's been tweaked to make battles far faster. Everything in this game has been streamlined to make sure that a majority of your time is spent catching Pokemon, and, fucking around in the woods somewhere. And that task of catching Pokemon becomes significantly easier with this game's array of crafting options. Basically pick up materials in the wild and make a whole assortment of doohickeys. Because really, which gamer hasn't wanted to throw a smoke bomb at a dog once in their life? As well as making thingamajigs, different crafting materials can craft different Pokeballs. Pokemon's traditional gameplay loop this time has been replaced with crafting new items, exploring new areas, finding new Pokemon, getting rewards, and then getting your ass handed to you by an alpha Pokemon when you enter a new area. Oh yes, and on that, alpha Pokemon in general, this game is absolutely fucking hilarious, because this proves canonically Pokemon can and will mess you up.
Come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth. I'm feeling romantical.
Because in this game, you don't black out when you lose a Pokemon battle, you black out when a Pokemon near clubs you to death. Now, some Pokemon in the wild are friendly, like look at Bidoof and Seal. Not a single thought going on behind there, and of course they're going to be friendly. But if a Pokemon has red and glowing eyes, that doesn't mean they're in a deep-fried meme. That means they're about to deep-fry your organs. Oh, and yes, maybe spoilers, but the game's been out for over a year, so who cares? Volo, you were a cheater. 8v6, I don't care if you've got literal Satan on your team twice. You're still going to hell. Now, in the spirit of fairness, I have to address this game's biggest criticism. The graphics. Do they look amazing, or even in date for the year that this game was released? No. Do dirt textures occasionally look like really poorly stretched PNGs? Yes. Am I so distracted by this that whenever I boot up this game I start crying and bleeding out my hair follicles because I can't enjoy a game without having realistic shaders firing 2 inches from my eyes? Now, if anything, this game would look far, far worse if it didn't have cell shading. But, in saying that, Still not great, but not so distracting that I'm discounting every other element of this game's presentation that I find really excellent. For one, the music in this game is really good. For me, music in a Pokemon game is absolutely vital to how much I remember it and the emotions and experiences it conjures up. While all Pokemon games have at least their handful of bangers, Pokemon Sword and Shield had maybe the weakest soundtracks in the series, and makes it such a nice surprise that the Sinnoh soundtrack has been treated with respect. The remixes in this game sound lush and ornate, the new tracks are excellent as well, and this game is just pure fan service from start to back. Like you've played the Sinnoh games growing up? How about an explanation to a thing you never asked for or questioned, but it's just dope as hell to know anyway? You see all the characters in this game? They're the ancestors of the ones in the modern games, which either means Sinnoh has like 40 people tops in the entire region, or modern day there's been a horrific amount of inbreeding happening. In my opinion as well, this game features Pokemon's coolest selection of regional exclusives, with ancient forms of Pokemon only available in a world mostly untouched by humans, which while cool, is also a little sad knowing this version of Quillfish probably went extinct from some company accidentally dumping a fuck ton of uranium into the ocean. There's also a pretty meaty amount of side quests to distract you from the main story this time, ranging from shiny Pokemon hunting, finding spirits, and, in this case, Pokemon really not wanting you to forget that Drifloon is Chris Hansen's biggest op and should not be allowed near children. Ultimately, this game just leads me to a question. How does one categorize a game like this? Because Pokemon Legends Arceus is either a very good Pokemon game, or it is just straight up Pokemon's best spin-off game. Either way, tremendous. If they don't make Pokemon Legends Kyurem, I'm going to barbecue my Nintendo Switch and throw it at a public service worker. This is not a threat. This is a promise.